After months of political stalling over the redevelopment plan, a new council finally took office. Their very first vote wasn't even close. 88% yes, 12% no. So today, the biggest downtown redevelopment this city has ever seen is officially underway. Let's jump in. Welcome back to Ashland, and we're going to start with a few retcons. And it's going to be a pretty big retcon. It's getting rid of all of these homes right here and splitting Shanlin Park into two separate districts. I feel like I really wanted to hit a big scale, and that scale just doesn't represent itself well within City Skylines 2. If you look at something like this, it feels appropriately scaled, whereas this feels very, very big compared to absolutely everything else. And I feel like one of the ways we can fix this immediately is to just come right through here, upgrade this road to be our 4-lane, and connect it into this road right here, which means there's a lot of deleting that needs to happen. Okay, and that was definitely painful, but it's done now, so let's upgrade this road to be our 4-lane. And then I just want to use our continuous curve tool to essentially snake our way through here until we meet up with this, and then we'll do a bridge over. And actually, before we do anything, we should probably upgrade this to be an actual 4-lane road. And I think we'll grab somewhere in the middle and then just send this all the way through. Right there should do the trick. And I feel like before we add anything in, we're probably gonna have to pull this back just a tiny bit. I don't think there'll be enough room. And now we're gonna come right here to our little highway, and we're gonna start building a bridge over it. Now I'm gonna turn constant slope on, and I'm gonna turn anarchy off, just to make sure that if we wanted to make this without anarchy, we could, and it seems like we can. The only problem is overlapping items, and that's just due to the key wall, so we can extend this to be an elevated segment. And now the only issue is just because of the pillar, so we're perfectly fine to set this down, and we're gonna set it right about here. And now we just need to do a little bit of cleanup, so we'll downgrade it to be ground level where it should be, and just fix some of this up. Now I don't want to just leave it like this, so we're going to expand some of the roads a little bit, and then we'll reconnect in some of the paths to the roads. All right, now we're gonna do a bunch of density crease in Birch Heights, and it's not all that dense, to be honest. It still feels pretty normal. I think we have a few dense buildings like this one right here, but I think this one is our densest. And I wanna go a little bit higher than that. And we have a lot of room to work from. How many people are currently in Birch Heights? Let's kind of baseline this. So right now we have 3,950 households, 11,126 residents, and 6,867 employees. So it's a pretty dense neighborhood as it is, and we're gonna make it even more dense. The only problem that they have is high noise pollution, so I don't think we can solve that though. And it seems like our noise pollution comes from our elementary, or maybe the barracks, our police department, our post office, and maybe a few of these commercial buildings, but overall, nothing we can really solve, so we're not gonna worry about that. Now, in order to increase our density, I think we're gonna start near our passenger rail. To me, that makes sense. And we have this little plot right here that I think would actually be really good for it. We've done nothing with it yet, so we might as well start here. Mostly just because, though, we don't have to destroy anyone's homes or businesses. And I think if done right, we could probably turn this into somewhat of a business park or a business residential mixed use park. So we're gonna open up Find It, and I think I'm gonna go with one of these right here. So I'm gonna place the first one maybe facing towards the water. I feel like that makes sense. And this is just a level 5 southwest residential asset. So maybe we'll have one right here. And I'm wondering, if we used a mix of levels for this, could we make it feel like one cohesive building? So if I drop down to level 3 here, and then just slide it all the way over, and then on this side, we swap back to this one right here, and we have it face the corner. No, it's just barely wide enough, but we can make these two feel a bit cohesive. Or, hear me out, we place this one right in the middle. I actually really like that. The only problem is it's a signature building, I believe, and we don't have it unlocked. Let me take a quick look to see what we would need to unlock it, and we would need a server farm. I think we can make that happen. Let's go buy a server farm. All right, and to actually buy it, we have to unlock it first, so let's start with that. Where is it? I believe it's in communications, server farm, here we go. All right, and this is a big boy. This is definitely a really big building. I think I actually used the asset over here. No, I didn't. So this building has a noise pollution of medium, so we probably want to keep it away from our residential uses and more towards our more noisier uses. I kind of want to place it here though, even though these homes are right here. It just seems like it's going to be the best fit, so I'm just going to do it. So we're going to delete this. It looks like we had to stop running through here, so we'll need to fix that as well. And I want to get this close to the highway if I can. Maybe not too close, but just close enough. So we'll do something like that right there. And then this building definitely needs its own parking, so let's run a parallel road right alongside here. We'll change this to 0.25, and we'll just send it alongside the building, so maybe about 13 units. And then we'll just connect in with an alleyway. All right, so I just added this small little parking lot right here. I also gave some access for a wide alley into this little area. I'm not exactly sure what is stored here, but there is connections that go in here. And I'm gonna take a guess and say it's probably some sort of freight or transportation, something. So I gave it a really big wide alley just so they'd have the extra room. Really, all I wanted to do was just separate the normal people who work here and the people who are coming in to transport goods or items. And I think I did that. But now that we've done that, we have this building officially unlocked. Yeah, I think this building's definitely going to be the building for here. So let's get rid of these bad decisions. And instead, let's add this one in. And because this building can be perfectly centered, I think I'll just snap to the road. And there we go. Wow. That's a big boy. I like it. It looks good. And taking a look at some of our other signature office buildings, we have the multi-story media, and we just need 5 radio masts for that one. Oh no, and 3,000 high-density office buildings. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get there yet. What can I say really other than I don't like the fact that you have to zone in a specific type to unlock a signature building? I don't mind buying the server farm and placing it in. That's a whole different story. Just having to have a specific amount of zoning just to build something is a bit silly. I think we'll actually focus on any building that's 2 units long. So let's set our lot depth to 2. And it looks like this office high right here will actually be a pretty good fit. So I think we're gonna place it right there. And we could get rid of this. Yeah, let's get rid of it. And we'll just move that over. And it looks like it's doing a bit of sinking because of our parking lot. We may need to adjust this just a bit. Oh wow, yeah, there's definitely a bunch of things happening back here. Yeah, I don't know, I think we could probably just hide it. It's not always the greatest option, not always my favorite option, that's for sure. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and I think this is one of those cases. We might as well use the one right beside it. It's the Office High 01. Again, another level 5 building. And I think we could probably place that right here in between these 2 row homes. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. That was easy. All right, next up, I think we're gonna place this office building too. And we'll probably place it right here. So we'll say goodbye to this asset. And can we just snap to the road? That'd make things a bit easier. And let's say right here for now. And yeah, that's a big difference. Is it taller than this one? It kind of is. Just barely. Oh yeah, just barely. And now next, I think we're gonna use this one and we're gonna place it facing this road somewhere right here. I'm trying to make sure that other towers don't block the other tower's kind of sight line. It won't be perfect, definitely won't be perfect, but if I can get even close to something reasonable in that sense, I'll be pretty happy. So we'll place it there. We'll give it a little move over. And unfortunately, this parking lot, or this section of the parking lot, will have to go. And we'll open up some green space. Maybe we'll pull it back just a bit too. try and give it some more space to breathe. Okay, now even though these buildings right here are on a pedestrian road, I still think it would be pretty highly ideal land. You would have direct access to the bus station through this little pedestrian loop. You would have a nice little walkable front and honestly just a pretty decent view if you weren't these buildings. Because right now all you see is the other side of some buildings. So let's delete these for now. It's gonna definitely hurt because I like the way they look there. And I think what we're gonna do is place one of these here, then maybe one of these right here, about 1 unit away. And then I think this one right here. Is that good? Yeah, we got tons of room there. Let's delete this tree. And what is this? Oh, it's a parking garage. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we'll need to give access to this, although I don't know how possible that's gonna be. If we're gentle, I think we can justify cars going through here. Oh yeah, tons of room for cars. Cars would not be a problem. What about trucks? Again, not a problem. All right, here's the ultimate test. Could a transport truck fit through here? Just barely, but I wouldn't expect to see transport trucks going up here anyways. The only problem with this is that I think that means the building will want to be aligned. Yeah, because the parking garage faces that way. I think I'm not gonna worry about it too much and I'll just kind of let it be. I do think we need a little bit more access now that we have these buildings in here though. So let's grab a pedestrian road and we'll send it right about here, because what I want to do is build just a small little parking lot, maybe something kind of like this right here. So we'll have one on this side and then one on the other side. And then ideally we just grab right here and bring this in. Those will connect. Now we just need to connect our pedestrian road. And I don't want to make it seem like it's a direct connection in. So maybe we'll do something kind of like this. And that makes it seem like it's a direct connection in. So I've already went against what I wanted to do, but it's not a big deal. I just want this to be a bit walkable. So you park right here, you walk down, and then you just go down this pedestrian path, and there you go. We'll also send this pedestrian road alongside this building as well. And then we'll connect it directly into this point, as long as it doesn't break anything. Wow, it broke something. Okay, surprise, it broke something. And that's because I'm not snapping to existing geography. All right, and that makes this just a bit better. Otherwise, I don't know how I was going to justify putting 3 giant buildings on top of here. Now at least they have this little bit of parking. Then we've added in quite a few office buildings, but I think we're missing out on some residential. So if we come right here, I think we can definitely replace these 2 buildings. And let's just say that they were redeveloped. So we can get rid of these ones right here. And they have 40 out of 40 households. And this has 72 households. So yeah, it's a pretty big improvement. And I think one of those should be nice. And then maybe one of these right here beside it. And then I'm thinking that we should definitely have one of these in just to change the style up a bit. And I think we'll just add in this North American residential vanilla. And I think that works. Yeah, that definitely works. So now we've placed a bunch of office, a little bit of residential, and I'm wondering, can we add in a bit of office as well? I mean, commercial. Holy. Not office. Can we find some commercial? And wow, it's kind of small. And I think something that I actually want to do is figure out a different way to reorientate our high school. I really like the idea that it was facing this, but now it's taking up a bunch of unnecessary space and it's not really making sense to me. So I think what we're going to do is get rid of all these trees first, and then we'll send a road right about here. And maybe we'll do something kind of like this, and then we just need to grab this and spin it around, and this time we'll have it face that way. Yeah, that's not bad. And that just frees up a whole bunch of space that we didn't have available to us before. And given that we're doing all of this high density development right beside it, I feel like it just makes sense. But now I think to take this to the next level, let's grab a pedestrian road and just connect it to the back of this. And maybe we'll split it even further. So maybe we'll split this as well and split this as well. So then we can have a little bit of parks in the middle and a bunch of buildings around it. And give me the biggest building possible. A 5x5 gives us, this is our commercial. I was wrong, 6x6 gives us our biggest commercial. And I feel like that's definitely a bit more appropriate. So I like this building, but I don't like the colors. Let's see if we can swap it out for something, yeah, kind of like this. I think that actually works. I think we'll go with this one right here. Now let's just give it a nice gentle pull all the way back. And we'll do something nice with this once we get into detailing. And wow, that's a barren wall. So I think we definitely need to slap something on here. Otherwise, there's no point of even adding a pedestrian kind of plaza here. It would just look awful. So let's get some type of decal. And I think with a little bit of luck, we can make this look nice if we just place 2 of them and then flip it around and place another 2. Because I can't find anything else big enough to cover this building. And yeah, that looks a bit unique, looks a bit interesting. And while we're down here, we might as well just throw some random garbage all over this wall, because why not? These are the people with markers and Sharpies. And then on top of it, we're gonna throw some proper graffiti. And until we do some detailing, that's how I'm gonna leave it for now. And now we just need a building for right here. And I think this one fronting this road should work. I don't think we need to get any more crazy about that. And this one doesn't need graffiti because it has some actual windows on the back of it. All right, that's looking good so far. Looking good, definitely looking good. All right, now I think we're gonna pick up the pace a bit. I'm gonna go through with a fine comb and just try and find buildings that make sense to be deleted and replaced. And I'm starting to see these ones right here. So let's pick up the pace. Okay, welcome to Birch Heights, but significantly more density. So I just went through, added a bunch of these little buildings, and I think it looks pretty nice. Over here, I did the exact same thing that was happening kind of along here, but just increased it. I figure I'm never gonna have the right buildings for this, so I might as well just get something in the meantime. Plus, I'm a lot more confident with the grid now. I think I know how this is gonna go. Most of our density increases are gonna be concentrated right here, but I think it looks really nice. I think we're gonna see a lot more density increases as time goes on, but for right now, this is pretty nice. Now, when I moved this high school, I totally forgot that it was maxed out. So we can add in a bit more capacity with our extra wings. This will take it from 800 all the way up to 1300. So that should make a big improvement. And I'm also thinking with this area right here, we definitely need another school. And I think we might place the Eastern European Elementary School right here. I feel like given the shape and the size of this lot, it just makes sense. Plus, this doesn't have to be an elementary school. It could be almost anything. And I think it works in the sense of the area. Really, the biggest reason is that it comes with 1,500 students, and we really need that for this area. And let's take a quick look before we click play. Upper Birch now has pretty much 3,000 households, and Birch Heights has 4,500. So we're gonna be increasing density like crazy in this area. Now, it doesn't have any upgrades, that's fine. I think we can do some upgrades in the detailing section. This should fulfill a lot of the elementary demand. I don't think this alone will fill all the high school demand, so let's find one more. And I think we might just go with the urban high school and place that, I think right here should do the trick. And we have some capacity upgrades along with a pool and a basketball court. Yeah, I think we'll add this in as well. And now we're gonna set this to only operate in Birch Heights and in Upper Birch. Ideally, it would only operate in Upper Birch, but we might as well have some spillover just in case. I'm gonna clean up these districts because they're a really big mess right now. And I've separated this district as well. We'll just call it Lower Branch for now. I mean Lower Branch, I meant to write Lower Birch. There we go, Lower Birch, Upper Birch, and Birch Heights. Now, before I forget, I need to remember to assign all of the services to Lower Birch. Then we're actually not doing too bad for our post service here, but I think I'll add in just a few more mailboxes. Okay, now let's quickly check to see what our healthcare looks like. If we remove everything except for healthcare coverage, we can see that this entire area is covered very, very well. So I'm not going to worry about it for now. I will if we see any things pop up like this right here. And in the meantime, I haven't clicked play yet, so I'm going to let all of this fill in. And it's definitely grown, that's for sure. I'm glad to see we didn't destroy all our demand. That was the one thing I was worried about. And we're losing population. I'm wondering why. We definitely shouldn't be. We have all this new development. Oh wait, we should be because I redeveloped on pause. So that means everyone got kicked out and then they had to find a new house. I wonder what that's going to do for our homelessness. Yeah, about 1,200 homeless. That's not too bad. That's reasonable. 9% unemployment, but I don't really believe that menu. Oh wow, it's actually right. Okay, so it's roughly 9%. And again, it's our uneducated. Well, I'm hoping that this elementary school is going to do some relieving, and it definitely seems like it is. It's at 1,500. It's at max capacity already. This one's maxed out too. In this neighborhood alone, there's 1,700. And in Birch Heights alone, there is, wow, 3,200 children. Okay, so this area definitely needs a new elementary school. And I'm thinking we'll place the new elementary school right here. And let's check out the upgrades. So we have just extension floors, which we might as well add on. It's only going to give us an extra 300 capacity, but in our case, I think we can use it. And we'll select both these districts, just in case they spill over from each other. And I think we should definitely add in some parking, and maybe we'll do that right here. And we could probably just send this roughly the same length as the building. And then we'll just extend this surface right here. That way we can actually walk across it. And it seems like some weird things are happening here. And then because we have this parking lot road, we can actually add a park on it, which I definitely think we're going to do. And this is an elementary school, right? I already forgot. Yeah, okay. So this is an elementary school. So we can definitely add a playground. We can also add this plaza right here as well. We'll need to do a little bit of adjustments just so it doesn't connect to this road. I'm going to replace this surface so it doesn't do any weird things. And now I just want to kind of stop it from connecting into here and instead connect it into this path. And I was thinking about just placing a surface over this, but I think we can do something just a bit better. We can use this little grass decal, and as long as we line it up nice and close, we should be able to cover over this road. The grass will look a bit different, but that's fine. Then of course, that's definitely a bit rough. And when I say a bit, I mean a whole lot. So we'll just cover that up with some trees. There we go. And last but not least, I want to disconnect this park from the parking lot and instead connect it to the paths. The big plus about that too is we get to make it much bigger. Then we just have this little small area, and I think we're just going to add one big tree and just have it be some nice green space. We're right beside a parking lot anyways, we might as well have something nice. Okay, now swapping our attention to Madison, I think we should definitely add some form of elementary school here, and we'll probably just go with the community elementary school. It's the smallest one. I mean, we could go with the urban one, but it's a bit much for this area. So I think we'll place that somewhere right here, and then we'll just pull it back a bit to give it a bit of separation from the road. And no, I accidentally deleted all my trees. I'll worry about that later. And we're gonna set this to only operate in Madison, and we might as well add on the upgrades as well. What does it give us? So 150 capacity, definitely, let's take it. And we get this little community playground. This is one cool playground. I wish I had this. And now I'm a bit scared for this road right here. I can imagine some students would love to run out on the nice fancy bridge in the highway. So let's block this off to make sure that they can't. We'll add our key on both sides. There we go, and that's ever so slightly a little bit more safe. All right, and last but not least, let's buy these 2 tiles right here. Oh, no way. Are we gonna need to buy these 2 tiles just to develop this entire area? I think we are. That's insanity. And the difference is pretty much 500k, but we should be fine. Oh, wow. Oh, right. Right, it always tricks you. Whenever I'm in this menu, it tricks you for some reason. 81,000, 243,000. Yeah, so I think we're gonna buy these 2 tiles, these 4 tiles, I mean, and we're gonna develop out the rest of this area. But before we develop anything, I think we need to fix our trams. I had good intention when I was building this out, but the execution is just a bit flawed for various different reasons, starting with the fact that if you live down here, you have one long trip just to get to any form of public transit, and that's just not very good. And I kind of blamed that on the alleyway roads because we can't have tram lines run down it. And then I realized, why don't we just use Road Builder? let's get that done. And in the meantime, I'm just going to quickly fix whatever this problem is. It seems like we're having some type of pathfinding issue. I decided to delete the entire line just because I don't know what's going on with it and I don't want to fix it. Either way though, let's grab this road with Road Builder. And what we're going to do is try and find a tram track. And maybe we could set that right in the middle. How would that look? Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So then we'll have 3 lanes, 2 for cars, and then 1 for trams. And maybe we could just make this a little bit more interesting. What if we put a platform? I don't know if that'll work. Ooh, that definitely does not work. Looks kind of cool, but I don't think we can make that work. Instead, maybe we just throw the tram track on the right side of the road, just to give a bit of separation in, because I wouldn't want people getting off the tram and then being in the middle and having to cross either left or right and cars are flying through. It seems like extra unnecessary danger. And then I'm going to call this a one-way tram alley with the brackets Madison, and hopefully I don't get confused. Also increase the speed to 40 kilometers an hour because 30 just feels a bit too slow. And then we'll take our road and we're just going to upgrade it all the way down. We'll have to turn off zoning cell length so we can actually snap into the middle. We'll turn on anarchy and we'll just pull this all the way down to the end. And now what I think I want to do is grab our tram alley and bring this down just a bit further. But ideally we're matching the same height. So let's use our level terrain tool. And let's just drag this out quite a bit. We'll have to ruin all of our precious rocks, but you know what? I think it's going to be fine. And then I just want to take our tram alley and send it down here. And also try and mirror this edge. Something kind of like that. Let's turn on constant slope and ground level though. And we'll do that right there. And then we just need to curve this in nice and gentle. And then let's grab our pedestrian key path type thing. If I can get it just barely, there we go. And we'll turn on the key wall on the right side. And we're just gonna do the exact same thing we did alongside here. Just try and follow it down a bit. And then we're gonna grab all of our key wall and set it to be the exact same height as Butler Lane. And there we go. Now that's looking pretty good. I think what we'll do is we'll end it right here, right alongside this, and then we'll connect back in. Now in an ideal world, we'd also upgrade this road to have the tram track as well. I don't know how realistic that'll be. It seems like we'd have to pull it pretty far, or maybe not. I don't think that's all that bad right there. I think what we need to do is just grab our key wall and pull it all the way over as far as we can get it, right about there. And we'll do the same thing with this one and just pull it all the way over. And now we should be able to grab this tram road and send it all the way down here as well. So taking a quick look at this, it seems like it just barely fits. Just barely. Yeah, just barely. Okay, so we're gonna add it in. We're gonna do it. And then we'll also send it down this road as well. And now that we have it down this road, I almost want to remove it from here, but also at the same time, I kind of don't. I imagine these trams to be less like full out public transport trams. You know, we have the main one that comes here and drops people off, but more so I imagine these to be like historic streetcars that kind of just go around and around. And we kind of do need something for tourism right now. So I feel like this could be a big boost to our tourism. And I think that's what I'm gonna do here. We'll have to upgrade this road as well, which means we'll have to lose all of our trees, which isn't a big deal. Essentially, we'll take what we did over here, remove snap to zoning cell length. That gives us our middle point. And we'll add this in like that. Now we'll grab our one-way tram track and just add it into this lane. It seems like there's a connection here that shouldn't be made anyways, so let's get rid of that. And so I think I've decided on the way this tram will work. Because this is essentially going to be a circulator route, and we don't really have the right-of-way to create bi-directional routes, I think what we'll do is we'll just send it from here all the way around, and we'll just keep looping. And I really do want to go into here. I'm not sure if it's the right move, but I do think it makes sense because we'd have our trams coming from Birch into here and then back over to Birch. And then we'd have our circulator tram coming around, picking up those people and bringing them all the way around to any of their destinations. So I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, let's upgrade this to be 2 lanes. Using Road Builder, we'll select this, and we're just going to add one more lane in here. And then this gives us a one-way, 2-lane tram track. And right now the speed limit's 80 kilometers per hour. That seems a bit insane. I don't know why the game is doing that. There must be some reason, I'm going to assume. So I won't mess with it for now. What I will do is upgrade this road. And we're going to need to pull it to the left a bit. So now we have our 1 stop. And let's also get our 2nd stop in here as well. And what are these little things right here? That looks a bit broken. Okay, there we go. Just a little bit of node manipulation to clean that up. And then ideally, these don't really ever need to... Oh, I can't control it anyways. Oh, that's unfortunate. These don't really need to cross. There shouldn't ever be a reason where they need to cross. But it doesn't matter because we can't change it. So now we'll have our 2 routes. So the circulator route will start on the left tram track. And there we go. So there's the circulator. And now we just need to fix the Birch line. And so we'll come back down here. I think for the Birch line, ideally, I would just stop circulating around this park. I'm trying to look at the transfer opportunities and see what would give us the best opportunity for transfer. I think we could probably rework a line or 2. I need to go back and rework all of these lines, honestly. They're kind of bad. But I think let's start with keeping it simple. And I just want to see all the lines that we have. So what is this Birch Heights line 1? So Birch Heights line 1 essentially does a loop around here. So what I think we're going to do is we're just going to rework this entire line right here. So Birch Heights line 1, I'm just going to delete it. The whole entire point of this route was to essentially go around here. I think we'll make this a focus on the university, which means that I also need to rework this as well because you can't turn from here. And I think what we could do is just set it so that you can turn. I feel like that might be a bit too tight. As long as they take it slow, I feel like it should be fine. Okay, but now that that's fixed, what we can do is essentially we'll send our track all the way up this road and we'll do a loop somewhere. Maybe right here, because then we'll come back down and this time we'll give bi-directional service. It seems like it might just be a bit too tight here, but I think we can still swing it. And then with all of that in place, we need somewhere for it to actually do the loop. Preferably, I'd just like to reuse the existing infrastructure, but we don't have it, so not a big deal. So we'll set our one-way track alongside this road, and then it'll come back up, around. And now we can finally take this, we can send it up here, and there. Now we have this route. We'll color it back to blue. For now, I'm just going to call this University to Upper Birch. We'll change our ticket price down to $2, and we'll only assign 2 vehicles unless we need more. Now, the reason why I did that is so we can actually just connect our tram line into here. I feel like it'll make it a bit easier. And so now we'll have our 2nd tram line, and it'll come from right here. It'll go all the way down this road directly into here, and it seems like our pathfinding is failing. So there must be an issue somewhere. And as long as we go down it, we'll find it sooner or later. It seems like one of our issues is right here. So I'm just going to delete both of these roads. And can we also get grass? Yes, we can. No way, we can get grass in the middle? I don't know how I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool. I actually kind of like that a bit more. Yeah, I definitely like that a bit more. And we'll just stop at the university for now to signify some type of new road. And I think we'll do something like that right there. Now for the moment of truth, does our line actually work? Yes, it does. Seems like it does. All right, so now we'll loop back around here and then come back into this one. So we'll change the name to Madison to University. And we'll also change the tram line as well. We'll take our ticket price down to $2. And again, we'll only have 2 vehicles. And let's give this kind of like a light blue. And then this will be the Madison Circulator. Again, same thing with ticket price. We'll change it down to $2. We'll give 2 vehicles. And let's just make this a nice orange. Okay, now all we have left is to add in our stops. And so what I think I'll do is we'll have one right in front of this path by our school. Another right alongside these buildings right here. We'll have one in the halfway point, and then we'll have one right here and one right here. Then let's say another one here and here. And I think that's all we need. Now we'll grab our Madison circulator and we'll send this all the way down. Okay, now this area should be pretty much ready to go with trams. I still don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I really don't know. I think I might just downgrade the road unless someone has a better idea for what to do with it. So now, mirroring what we did in Madison, I'm going to build out our grid. And then alongside the front here, I want 2 units of Southwest medium density residential. And I think we'll do the same thing right here, but maybe we'll go 4 units. And honestly, I think maybe here as well. Depends on what the game gives us. Along this road, let's go 2 units of Southwestern row housing. This area didn't really come out the way I'd like to see it, so we're gonna do a little bit of fix up here. I think really what I wanna see is just a bunch of these row homes alongside this corner. Something like that right there. And then again, alongside here, we'll just have some more of them. And now I'm just gonna quickly go through and get everything pretty much zoned out and filled in. All right, and that's pretty much it. I tried to sprinkle around a bit of commercial everywhere. You'll see some here and alongside here. I also got some on the corner, and I imagined that we'd have somewhat of a grocery store. So I just put one right here, right beside our tram tracks. There's a bit of commercial alongside here as well. We have one high density building. I guess not really high density, it's more low rent housing. And it's gonna front the water, so you'll have nice, beautiful views. As long as you don't look over there. Actually, you don't even really see it from this angle. That's great. I was gonna say you don't really see the cargo harbor. But yeah, it's barely hard to see. There's something burned down over there, so we're gonna ignore it. I really just tried to layer everything in and really messed with the colors, tried to make some a bit funky, just so they'd stand out and pop. And then back here, we just have a bit of low density. And I figured might as well just add it in, continue the same trend as we've been doing here, and everything's looking pretty good. So there's a few changes that obviously will need to be made. We need a bit of parking in, and let's start with that. And I left open these little gaps, hoping to fit parking through here, so let's see if we can get some in. So we'll pull this alleyway alongside this back road right here. And maybe we can connect in from right here. And now we should be able to just take any old parking lot and just slap it in here. And I think if we use this one-way perpendicular parking alley and then use the parallel road tool and go about 0.25 units, it should give us a bit more parking than what we would have got with an actual parking lot. I'm gonna take a guess and say yes, hopefully that's right. But it also doesn't look as crazy as placing this in. And all we need to do is take our alleyway and then connect it directly in. And I'm trying to make sure this makes sense, so coming along this way, you go in. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. All right, so here's one set of parking. Now we can probably do some here as well. So we'll take our alleyway and I think we'll connect in from this road. And maybe we'll just send it directly here and nowhere else. Because then we can take Dome's parking and just apply a few alongside the back of these buildings. There we go. And now this building has indoor parking. Either it's underground or maybe it's just at the normal level. So I think what we can do from here is we'll attach this surface into this road, and we'll also attach it into this road as well. Now we just need to check to see if there's any invisible paths. And weirdly enough, I'm not actually seeing any. So let's add one in. We'll add a 2-way invisible road path. And there we go. I can live with that. That's not too bad. So the pedestrians can still walk on the side of the road if they really wanted to, but the cars can drive through and they'll have access to the garage back here, which again, I'm still not seeing. Now we're just gonna add in the same surface over here to our parking lots. And that's not perfect, but it'll do for now until we actually get some detailing done. Then all of these assets have garages, so we don't need to worry about them. And it doesn't look like these ones do. And what about these ones? Do these ones have garages? Yes, so all of these assets have garages as well. So the only ones we really have to worry about are these ones right here. I think my way of solving this is just going to be to place a 2 parking spot for vehicles just from Dome. We'll place those in between the buildings. These ones all have garages. These ones have garages. These ones do not. And I feel like we definitely need to add some form of parking in here. I'd rather see more pedestrian amenities, but there's a level of realism that we need for parking. And unfortunately, I think we might as well add it in. So I think what we'll do is we'll take an alleyway and we'll snap it to the back side of these houses right here, or at least as close as we can get. We can always move them a bit closer to the road. Okay, now we should be able to just upgrade this road with a parking lot road. And I think this right here will be a little bit too close. Yeah, just a bit too close. So we'll need to use a one-way in order to make this work. We're going to turn our snapping off. We're going to pull it close to the building, but not too close. Right there is perfect. And now we're just going to add a key wall on one side of our parking lot, just like that. There we go. And now there's tons of parking. And then the last one I think we'll focus on for parking is probably going to be this asset right here and maybe this one. So before we do parking though, let's actually fix the access. And this should be pretty easy. We'll grab our invisible pedestrian path, and then we should just be able to go like this. Yep, there we go. Nice. And I'm wondering, do we have any good parking lots that would fit for this building? I think this one could. Yeah, I think if we just place that right there, pull it back a tiny bit, and connect it into that road, that should be able to work. And the rest can kind of be like a plaza. It may not be the most perfect parking lot coverage, but it does exist. And now I'm just going to click play and let everything fill in because we're going to see some crazy traffic things happening. Okay, now I've seen quite a few problems that I want to fix. One, we don't have any services and there's no district in this area. I love doing that. I have a memory of a goldfish. I don't get why. It's such a simple thing to remember, but I always seem to forget. If you have a better name for either of these districts, let me know. I'm happy to make the change. Now I'm just going to assign everything that's in Madison to Ravenwood as well. And I didn't assign the medical clinic because I think we'd probably need to add our own, but it depends on the usage. So right now it's only 9 out of 25 patients, and there's only 2 out of 3 ambulances dispatched, which makes me believe that this probably could cover both of these areas. So looking at our elementary school as well, it only has 396 students out of the 750 it can support. How many children are in this area? So 941, and in Ravenwood, it's 573. So we'll still keep this to be directly for Madison, but in Ravenwood, we will build our own elementary school. And so I think we're going to go with the Eastern European Elementary School, and we'll also build it a bit further away from the water because the land would be a bit cheaper over here. And right now it's only single family homes. And I think honestly, we'll just take out a few of these homes right here, and then we'll add in our elementary school, probably right there. And does this have any upgrades? Yes, it does. So we can add 90 more student capacity. Oh, this only has capacity for 100 students. Wow, that's not even be close to enough. Yeah, so we're not using this one. Let's use one that has at least a little bit more capacity than that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the Mediterranean Elementary School, and we're going to place it right about here. And let's get rid of these houses behind it. And this is a little restaurant right here. So we'll keep it, but we'll pull it back just a bit. And this is a really nice building. I love this asset. Now for upgrades, we have more space for students. And I think even that's pretty cool. It might be a bit overkill for right now though. Let's try and match what we actually need. And given that there's only 568 students in this area, I don't think we're going to need any more. So we'll keep our capacity there. And I was going to add some parking behind the building, but I'm seeing these paths right here, and I'd rather just connect into our road rather than add parking there. I think this shop actually is going to go. And instead, we'll grab an alleyway, and we need about 3 units of space. 2 units of space, it looks like. All right, so now we have our elementary school. And is there any other services I'm forgetting? Let's do a bit of post office as well. So we'll add in a few mailboxes around the area. I didn't even add any mailboxes to Madison. What's our postal coverage here? Wow, surprise. It's awful. All right, and similar to what I've done before, I just decided to place it near paths, parks, and stores. And I think that should help fix it a bunch. And it's all green now, so yeah, it definitely should fix it a bunch. And actually, while we're looking at our services, let's take a look at our telecom. So yeah, our telecom is definitely a bit rough, and I think we can easily make some quick improvements to this. And putting it right here maxes out our telecom pretty much in this entire area. So I'm perfectly fine. Let's do it right here. Maybe to make this a bit more interesting, we'll say from all of the terraforming that we've been doing, we added a bit of fill here. We'll just smooth it out. And yeah, that's gonna add us a whole entire, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 meters maybe? Not a big difference. Not a big difference at all. All right, and then we're just gonna grab an alleyway. And I believe that definitely shouldn't fix it because I don't think our highway carries electricity or water. All right, now finally it has power. How's our telecom looking? Pretty good, pretty much in this entire area. Over here it's a bit rough. I think we could probably add another telecom tower over here as well. So over by our stone mining, I think we're gonna add it to the tallest point, right about here. So traffic's becoming a bit of a problem. We're backed up pretty far. Yeah, definitely pretty far. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna give this road an extra turning lane, and we'll restrict any other lane from turning right. And we're gonna use Road Builder to do this. So we'll use as a template, and then let's duplicate this road right here. I'm gonna call it the 5-lane boulevard. And then I'm wondering, can we nudge this over to not look so bad? Doesn't really seem like we can nudge it over. I was hoping to connect these medians, but at the very least what we can do is make the turning lane make a bit more sense. And now let's remove unsafe. We'll restrict this middle lane from turning left. This is the turning left lane, and we'll restrict this lane from going forward. So now this lane right here should filter into the left side. Anyone turning right here will filter into the right. And I don't know if that's gonna make a big improvement, but I hope it makes a improvement. Now I'm seeing a bunch of issues with these taxis. They're really clogging up our roads. I'm wondering, where is this vehicle going? It wants to do a U-turn right here. That's great. I'm gonna set the priority here. So to go forward, it's the priority. To go forward on this lane right here, it's also the priority. And to turn right into here, it's the priority as well. This road must stop. So I'm thinking what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our own taxi depot. We don't have one yet, and it's a bit unrealistic that we don't have a single taxi depot whatsoever. And we're gonna place our taxi depot where land is relatively cheap, and I think that's right about here. Plus, this should allow us to place a lot of taxi garages, and I think we'll go right about there. Now let's look at our upgrades. We have electric taxis, we're gonna add that on, and we have our garage extension. So we're gonna go pretty crazy with this. We'll add 3 right here. We'll grab an alleyway and we'll snap alongside this building. And then this is about 3 units long. So we'll go 1, 2, 3 right here. Should give us enough room. And then we'll add another 3 right here. And that gives us a total of 85 vehicles. I still think we could go even crazier. So let's add another 3 right here. And that gives us 115. Now I'm not gonna use the dispatch center. And I believe I've seen this from Sunny Scunny. If you add the dispatch center, they can end up stopping in random important junctions, and we don't want that. What we will add is a few taxi stands around the area, and we're gonna try and place these near areas like paths. All right, now I definitely think we need a taxi stop over by our passenger rail, and maybe we'll add that right alongside here. And I really wish it didn't do this. I don't mind that buses do it, but I'm not a big fan that the taxi stands do it as well. I think it would definitely make a lot of sense to have a taxi stand by our bus depot or our bus station. And we'll place that right here and right here. So we'll place another stand right here by our main bus station in Ashland Heights. We'll place another one right here in front of our school. In fact, we'll place 2. And then we'll place one right in front of our college. And I think we'll also place one in Hillside. Let's just say kind of near the residential. I wouldn't imagine this would be an actual taxi stand. To me, I would imagine this is just people calling it to their house. We'll also add one to this school too, and we'll put that right over there. All right, and that's pretty much going to be it for our taxi coverage. It covers a lot of the key places that we need to stop to. And hopefully what it doesn't do is give us some crazy taxi stuff happening. So right now we're only using 54 out of the 115 vehicles we have. And honestly, that's not that bad. I can live with that. I think that's pretty good. All right, and this is what I was worried about. So now we're starting to see that the ambulance icons are popping up, and I imagine that's just because this cannot keep up. And actually, it doesn't seem like it's doing all that bad. It's not filled with patients, and it's not using all the vehicles. We might as well just get another clinic in though, because honestly, I could see these as like family doctors, and having one in this area probably wouldn't be enough. And I think we'll add our medical clinic somewhere right here, close to our main arterial, but not too close to the homes. And then we'll use our alleyway and just connect right in. And I don't want to leave this area just cul-de-sac like this, so we're going to push all these houses over. And we'll also connect in with an alleyway somewhere right here. There we go, just like that. Now we're going to set this to only operate in Ravenwood and Madison too, might as well. Now let's take a look at their happiness, and yeah, they're super happy. They love it here. What about Madison? Again, super happy. They love it here. So now I think we're ready to hop into a bit of detailing. And for this one, we're going to try and create a bit more plazas kind of around this area. We have this nice waterfront. I'd like to see some stuff happening behind here. I want to see pedestrians walking through parks and trails and just actually doing stuff. And then the rest will kind of just be something similar. I don't want to go too crazy in this area because I want it to still feel a bit intimate. But yeah, let's get started. All right, and I think that's where we're going to call it for today. I really like a few things. What is this? What is going on here? I clearly forgot to do a bunch of stuff, and I'm not surprised. Memory of a goldfish. We need to pull this back because this is way too close to the key wall and just ends up looking a bit weird. And last but not least, this needs to be cleaned up too. Okay, now that is much better. Now we're not seeing that weird surface dirt type thing. Anyways, I think this area turned out pretty nice. I think there's a lot of plazas, there's a lot of stuff happening in between, lots of places to walk, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I cleaned up some of these areas over here, and really I just focused on our main superstar, which is this building right here in my opinion. We do have a bigger building, but I still think this is the superstar. It just has a nice little park. You can walk through, or you can walk to work, or you can go eat lunch here, and I think it looks really good. Let's hop into a quick before and after. Alright, and that's a wrap. I really hope you enjoyed. As always, super big shout out to our amazing Patreon members, Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, Ganger, Griffin, and DaAlphaSupreme. If you want to help support the channel, or just check out Ashland for yourself, head over to Patreon. If you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscription really go a long way in supporting the channel. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.